Okay. So I've been working with the signs and the energy isn't ready. It's not coming through. And I feel like it's because there's someone in the collective that I need to read for. And I say someone because it feels almost like like how I feel before I do a personal reading, which I'm not doing right now. But before, when I used to do personal readings, this is the feeling I'm getting. Like there's a very specific energy that I need to read for it. Now, it probably is going to resonate with more than one of you, but it might not be your message. So if it starts to not resonate with you, just don't take it. That's okay. Maybe you've been asking for a message here and this is it, because it's definitely poking its head in all these different and interesting ways. And I already did a reading on this energy, but I feel like it was to give me a good overview of what was going on before we do it together. Because what we're talking about here is a kind of difficult feeling that somebody's working through. It's quite intense, actually, and it's very powerful. This feeling, this experience, this emotion that's happening. And it's coming through first with this card, Death. And what's interesting about this particular illustration is the Grim Reaper here looks like he's actually resurrecting someone. Looks like they're coming out of the grave rather than going in it. And they're coming out of the grave reaching for this mask, for this face. So it feels like there's something coming up from the so-called dead. This could be from your past, or this could be just an unconscious feeling that's been buried for a while. It's coming up and it's trying to find something to latch onto. Okay? It's trying to take some kind of form so that you can recognize it. I also was getting this massive tarantula in the corner image and it was wearing a crown. So there's something 222 on the clock. There's something that feels very ominous as well. And it has some kind of power with the crown. And it feels like to me that there's a shadow aspect that has manifested outwardly in your life. Okay, so something about yourself that maybe you haven't integrated yet. And we all have things we haven't integrated yet. We all have shadows, okay? It's cool. Hey, I got a shadow too, obviously. So it's like an aspect of your shadow that you haven't wanted to look at or you didn't know was there before is now coming up to the surface. Like it's now rearing its ugly head, okay? And you're picking up on that energy and it's manifesting outward, maybe through your interactions with other people, things that you're seeing. I don't know, things are happening, maybe nightmares or spooky experiences. There's something going on here. And it's almost like this shadow aspect is not only manifested outwardly, okay, in like difficult situations or just strange occurrences, but it also seems to be like chasing you and following you around. It's like you can't shake it. And there's nothing to be scared about because this shadow aspect of you, that's this big tarantula, okay, is trying to tell you something. And what Spirit's advising is that you confront it, that you acknowledge it, that you see it for what it is. Hey, I'm having this really weird situation happen and I feel intimidated, I feel scared, I feel hopeless, whatever feelings you feel that make you feel disempowered, okay? If that's you. This situation is going on, so like what am I not looking at? What is it that I really know to be true, or that something's coming up to the surface for me, but like I don't want to look at, I don't want to see, I don't want to go there. Like what is it? Because there's something here about you standing up to that part of yourself, to like well, what I got was an image of a bear in a woods, and you standing up. When you see a bear in the woods, you're supposed to stand up and say, "Hey, bear," and make yourself bigger and wave your hands around and not run from it. And that's the metaphor. It's like, make yourself big, just as big, like your light, your consciousness, make it just as big as the shadow has become and its manifestation in your life in whatever form that's happening. And say, hey, shadow. Hey, shadow. And it's not to chase it away, but it's to get yourself on even playing field as the shadow feels. Like, it feels big, it feels powerful, it feels ominous, it feels like, oh my God, everything's just effed, And Spirit is saying, expand your energy, your consciousness, your awareness that something's going on here and that you have control over it, but you just need to identify what's happening. Expand that awareness so that you can have a face-to-face with this aspect that's come up to show you something. Now, this is when we ascend, okay, and we start to heal things in ourselves. This is part of it. This is like the process. These confrontations or these moments with our shadow self that arise and that are usually kind of scary when they happen. Okay, shadow can be scary, but Spirit is saying this is like for you to not just to integrate, but to listen to. Because you can't continue something you're doing, whether that's some kind of spiritual work or something in your career or finding love or whatever it is that you want to do and that you're doing. You've like reached a threshold. You've reached a time, a moment where now we need to integrate this part of ourselves. We need to confront this. And the more we like are not sure what that is, or we can't confront it, or we're like running away from it, the bigger it will get. The more places it will start to appear in our dreams, in our relationships, just in general. It will just get really big until we do something about it, or until it swallows us whole. And it can. The shadow can absolutely rule and ruin our life if we don't become conscious of it. And we'll call it fate, as, Carl Jung talks about. When we don't know the shadow, we think everything is just happening to us. But once we get to know the shadow, we understand that we can make things happen ourselves, that we are making things happen ourselves. So I said a lot, 8 minutes, and I haven't pulled many cards here, but I did a whole reading on this. So this is what was coming through. You could be seeing crows. But I want to pull some cards now and see what else I can get. So like I said, this message isn't for everyone. It's heavy and it's intense. And I guess I'll share a little bit just so you know you're not alone, because you're not. But was it last year? I think it was last year. Last January, around there, I had and many of you are tired of hearing this and you know the story, but I had a bat come into my house unexpectedly, and it scared me. But it was a big message from Spirit that there's something in my shadow that I need to deal with, and I'm not dealing with it. And Spirit's like, well, how can we get her attention? How can we really rattle her to the point where she has to think about, what does this mean? And that's what happened. And then from there, I massively dealt with something huge. And then I had a dream that the bat turned into a white bat. So it felt like, I alchemized something, I integrated something. So that's the example that I want to give you. If something isn't being dealt with, something like that might happen. You're like, holy, you can't ignore it anymore. So don't be scared. Okay, there's nothing to really be scared of. But ask yourself, why is this happening? What does this mean? What is Spirit trying to tell me? and show me. And why does it have to come through like this? Like, I've clearly I've been avoiding something. Or if it's not avoidance, it's like something urgent that needs to be taken care of immediately. For some of you, this is allowing energies in your space that you shouldn't. And you just need to be more conscious of the boundaries you create. Okay? And your shadow's telling you there's other shadows coming in your space. And we can't allow that. So we're going to have to do something about it. That's for someone. But for others of you, this is something else going on. Okay? The nectar. Interesting. What's that? The shapeshifter. Something that was sweet might have turned sour. But I feel like this is also reiterating what I'm saying, that the shadow is trying to provide you with something, this giant tarantula, this shitty relationship, this, chaos, this feeling of like the world is crashing in on me. I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. All of that is trying to show you something. And you don't have to get down to it and understand what it is right away, but you do need to start investigating and poking around. And that's how you make yourself just as big as the bear in the woods. That's how you don't become the prey to the shadow. You start asking it, hey bear, hey shadow, what's going on here? And it's interesting that the bear is coming through because the bear is a protective energy. So it could be that your shadow's warning you, trying to protect you from something. Okay, oftentimes we think of the shadow as how should I say that? Let's put it this way. If you've been having an intuition or a dream, listen to it. Because I feel like someone here has had a warning. And you need to pay attention to that warning. And the dream could be very literal. Usually dreams are metaphorical, symbolic, archetypal in nature. But for someone here, you've had a dream that seems very realistic, and you need to listen to it because it's some kind of warning here. Yeah, but I feel like Spirit is saying there's some shape-shifting that your shadow aspect is doing. But it's trying to bring you closer to something. See how your hand is reaching into the darkness? The hunter, the predator and prey, which I had come out in the first reading I did. In reality, the shadow's not hunting you, you're hunting it. You're trying to resolve something and reconcile something within yourself. And it's been difficult. It's been hard. There's been like a block or something. You're looking, you're seeking, you're hunting for an answer, for a path, for clarity, for a way through. Maybe you didn't know you were hunting for the shadow, but that's exactly what you're doing. And now it's showing itself to you. You found it. You found it. Okay, so what do I ask now? What else needs to come through? What other information here? Lost compass, getting back to integrity, revelation, and curiosity with stranger. Some of you are having there's someone who doesn't belong, okay? I just want to say it like that. Someone who doesn't belong. And this is what this is all about. You're having a revelation that somebody doesn't belong. You're in a strange, unmarked path. And your inner compass is trying to guide you back here. Okay, yeah, but I kind of feel like we talked about that. So what do they need to do? I mean, I've said a lot. Butterfly, zebra, and bee. You don't have to hide who you are, the many different aspects of you, not just the one that people like, okay? The different parts of you. You've worked hard. I'm hearing you've earned your stripes with these two cards. What was a protective mechanism for you in the past, what allowed you to survive and maybe even thrive, was your ability to camouflage yourself, to shapeshift, but to camouflage yourself or to, even though you always did stand out, it was like you didn't allow yourself to fully just be, okay? And I don't know, there's something with the zebra, like, when you see a herd of zebras, they're all the same, right? You see the herd. You don't like just focus in on one. They're all kind of the same. Their stripes, when they stand together, they all start blending in. And it feels like maybe you've been working on blending in, or maybe you just haven't allowed yourself to grow and take up space, but that's changing now. Like, you're no longer blending in, you're transforming. There's something changing about you, and it's something you've been working on. And this could feel uncomfortable. So your shadow could be trying to say, like, allow yourself to express the transformation and to be seen. Okay, you have important work to do. You're a pollinator. You alchemize energies. You take energies from different places and make something out of it. You're a creator. And you may be nervous about that. Okay, some things like, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be singled out or whatever. I'm used to just kind of being able to like stay in the background or like be in a safe kind of camouflagey place. But that's not true to who you are. You've changed. The king, control, reversal of fortune. You're taking the crown off that giant spider, the part of you in your shadow that's saying, oh, just camouflage with everybody else, just don't be seen, make yourself small, or, protect yourself by being part of the herd, just going with what everybody else desires, You're saying no to that. You're taking the crown off the spider and you're placing it on your head, okay? You're saying, I'm in control. Reversal of fortune. You're saying, I'm taking back control here. And you know what? When you put the crown on your head, when you king, queen yourself, whatever, people see you. People pay attention. You're recognizable. You're impactful. You have authority and control and responsibility. So there's something about you taking back rulership, ruling your own life, standing strong in your personal authority, in your divine will, and not like appeasing or blending in with what other people think is right or whatever people want you to do or who they want you to be, So this message here is all about taking back control of your energy, of your story, of your life, and realizing that you've shifted and you've changed. And there's something coming up from your shadow to let you know that you have shifted and changed, and that it's time to be seen for who you really are in all of your facets. Rising sun, hope, courage, and optimism. I'm hearing don't let them beat you down. Summer fire, passion, creativity, and desire. Forget the noise. Other people's opinions, what they have to say, what's expected of you, what's deemed creative and successful. Like, forget all that. It's just made up stuff. Okay? The truth is in you and what you feel called to do. Express yourself the way that it feels right for you, and don't worry about being different, being seen. And at the same time, remember that you have control over protecting your own energetic field. You get to allow what comes in and what goes out. All right, that's what I have. I hope that helped. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.